points. So I've drilled a hole that goes through the baseboard. I've decided I'm going to fit the HM10s underneath. We'll sort it out. I screwed them down for now, just so you can get to them. I have tested it, but now I'm going to wire it up. But you have to screw it on before you can tip the board. So we'll wire it up now and then we'll give it a go. So wires are coming underneath. You do get a drilling template with the HM610s. Okay, so red to A, green to C, B to black. And that's now underneath the board. Okay, so temporary in place, just put a couple of screws in. It's wired underneath the board now. So let's open up the app. So let me get that so you can see both. So flick the switch, one across, open, close. Simples. Not a problem at all. Now whether it don't become a problem down here, but pretty much the same, so we'll see how it goes. Well, that's just a quick update. It's looking pretty straightforward that. We've been putting the 610s under the board. I'm worried that there's no air for them, so I just cut a hole underneath in this main board, what was for the Skate Electrics, just to solve that remedy. But there you go. So show you again. Point one. Sorted. Okay, so these ones are a tight fit. You have to trim off that edge there and one of the lugs. But then once you get it positioned, and when you do it, you put your thing all the way across, because obviously that's your farthest point. Place that down. It's difficult now because I've got one hand, but there, you see in a fashion. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you have to do that. Still got to work that bit out yet, but that's my tightest one, I think. Yeah, that's easy, that one's on. That one's wired up. Yeah, when you're screwing this in, you need to make sure you hold this down super tight, or you get a couple of screws in to get it in place. Once it's in, no problems. So I won't recommend this, but I've come up with a bit of a solution for this here. So I've chopped that lug off there, because obviously that's not required. And then this, where are we? Then this was obviously too long, so I chopped it off, but not knowing that it needed it to keep going through the other side. Let me try and zoom in. So I've ended up gluing that piece on there to stop it going through, but then that gives me the short space that I require. So if we push it all the way across, with a little bit of tinkering, anyway, you get the idea. So what we'll do, we'll fasten that and I'll show that working properly. Right, so that's it. They're all screwed in. I only wired this one up for now, but I've gone off with the tension from this one. They all feel the same. That's that one. This one's if anything, this one will be the one, but we'll see. See what it's like with the motor. But I've had to cut this one down and modify it to fit in that gap. And same with this one, I had to cut this one down to make it fit in this gap. Because they're for, well, it said they're for engage, but I don't know. I think you'd be struggling bad enough on this. So there you go. They're all there, all screwed down. Don't look particularly pretty, they're massive, but they will do the job, and I'll blend them all in anyway with scenics and stuff. But they're in for now, so I'm gonna have to wire them all in to the underneath of the board. But I can't see why they won't work. I can't see any issues. But I'll give you an update once that's done. I think I need some connectors for the next stage. It's going to be another one though. Quite a few might fit to that. So I might try the second one there and then just bring that wire and that wire to that. Yeah, that could be a plan. I'll have a look at that. Well, that was fun. Not the easiest things to fit in them little holes. But there we go, we've got 4 fitted up. I'm not going to need any block connectors or anything for them. It'll just be them 2, which I'll drag over to here. I just push them bits down with just a screwdriver, that plastic thing that Hornby provides. Too small, and yeah, I brought the first one anyway, so you don't need it anyway, just a small screwdriver to push them in. So right, let's test this then. So just a quick look at keeping the wiring tidy. Drill the hole to get that under there. Can't see that. Under there. That wire will go under there and into there. And then these go in from the top and underneath. I'm gluing that down at the moment, that's why I'm not letting go of it. So yeah, so there you go. So not a lot of wires at all really, so there's all them point motors under there. So only other thing will be some lights, that's it. So it'll be pretty tidy under there. And that's why it's always good to use a frame underneath your board so you can hide everything away underneath. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 are all into the HM6010. So I'll show them working. And then this one, that's top one. The middle one. The bottom one. That's it. The one that goes in port 4, the motor one, makes a little bit different sound. Because obviously it's got different setting, so it just runs over a little bit. But it's fine, it all works. So there you go. So 4 points, all working off one HM6010. And that's it. So this one is off the other HM6010 that I've got, and I'll just wire that one and that one down to here, and then I'll still have 1 port left for my lights. So it's not so very long, couple of hours maximum. It is a bit fiddly. You have to make sure that you hold this really tight when you're getting your screws in. If it slips, if it moves, you've got to reset it and everything. Also, the screws are tiny. You know, using a magnetic screwdriver, but you still need a very steady hand to make sure that they're in. But once they are in, I actually just went with the feel of this one, what I did once, and then the rest of them, I screwed them all in place first before I connected the wires. So it's quite handy that you can check before you wire it in. Otherwise you're doing in and out underneath the board. Wiring into the HM 6010's easy, but it'd be easier if there was two people. When there's one and you're trying to push down the little hex to get the wire in, and you've only got two hands, you know, I've got a screwdriver in my mouth, I'm pushing it down, it's not pretty, but I got the job done. So yeah, so that's point motors done, more or less. I'll just get some block connectors, or whatever they're called, to just wire them in there so I don't have to solder them into here. And then I'll have one port left for my lights. And that's it. So on with the next job. So this is all we're doing now. We're putting the wires from the point motor into a block connector, into some normal wires, and then these will feed through that hole there, and into there. Okay, so they're wired up. Got that one there, going through the boards into here. So we'll now give them a test. I realise that this is probably 100% overkill, but I have cut them holes out to accommodate for them under the board. Says we have them on top. All 7 points, all connected, all working off the HM 6010. Straightforward, and I've got one port left now for my lights. So once I get the locos, I can look at the clearances, put the buildings in situ, and then drill the holes to wire up the lights. And then that should be more or less it for the electrics.